Yo, what is good, family? Hope you all are having an amazing day. In today's video, we're gonna break down one of the traits we had during this month. In fact, the last week on the multi-time frame system, which I think we have not had the possibility to break it down on the channel in English. I think we only did it in Spanish on the last video. So yeah, let's break it down and show you guys how we were able to capitalize on this 1 to 12. Basically, not every single trade is like this. In fact, this is the only trade it's been like this so far this month. We were able to capitalize on this bullish ride to the upside, hit like 3 4 invalidations in a row with this mean reversion movement, as this strategy obviously is a momentum following. And then we had this ride to the downside with a few trades. Between those trades, this one specifically. So let's say out of 13 TPs, we had this one, which was an outlier of a 1 to 12. So we're gonna break this down, and the way to take this one was literally a replica, a copy paste of the way I took the rest of the trades. So that's the good part, and the outlier is not taken in a different way as the others were taken. So that's the most important part when you detect an outlier. Was this outlier taken in the same way as the other traits? Then you understand that the outlier was just another setup from your system, and it just happened to be bigger, because if you have a dynamic placement of the take profit in your system, this will happen for a fact. It's impossible that if you have a open TP or a dynamic TP, you will never get these. For a fact, you will, right? Other thing is that you have a fixed risk to reward ratio for a 1 to 2, a 1 to 3, whatever the number may be. You're just limiting yourself to just one risk to reward ratio. I will tell you, all of my systems have a dynamic TP placement. Obviously, I place take profit in all my trades. Some people don't. I do. But if you have a dynamic way to place them, that's fantastic. It means that in every single trade, you will have a different risk to reward ratio, because you place them, or you cut your trades in profit based on X factors that give you a different way or a different number of risk to reward ratio for every single trade. That's where you should aim to. Now, the easiest way for me to explain to you guys this system, which is, just a variation of the swing system, a variation of M5R and everything, it's just looking at a multi-time frame correlation. So it's nothing different to what you guys already listened from me during the 500 videos or whatever that we have uploaded on the channel. It's literally the exact same way. Same way of marking up the structure, but first of all, we're gonna detect that into 3 different layers. First of all, we're going to go for the 4 hours. So in the 4 hours, we detect the trend, right? In the 4 hours, we say, okay, we are bearish, lower high, that makes a lower low. So that's the first level of lower high. So let's put right here H4, lower high. That's the first one. Then we go for the 1 hour. In the 1 hour, we will literally have the exact same lower high that makes a lower low. This was also a pretty clean trend. I mean, sharp movement to the downside, directional movement, not leaving a lot of room to think twice. So H4 and H1 are in favor or are bearish, right? Then we go for the M15. In the M15, we already identify and spot that right here we changed to bullish, right? We had a lower low, right? Lower low, lower high. It goes to the lower low, then it goes to the higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, so on and so forth. This was the higher low in the 15 minutes. As you can see, we had another short. We had a short previously which hit invalidation, right? We're gonna break this down right now in a second. But the main thing right here is, okay, what's the real objective? What are the rules of this? Because you look at the layers, and right here, yes, we have H4 and H1 bearish, and 15 was bearish. So you look for 2 time frames in favor. Okay, 2 time frames in favor. What does this mean? Means that if you're looking for a bearish trade in M5, you will look for two of these three to be bearish also, right? You need to have a multi-time frame correlation, but in favor it's not only direction. Direction is one part, right? Direction is one part. The other part is 50% of the fib tapped. So this is very important, because if you don't have the 50% of the fib, you will always have the possibility of the market going to tap the 50% of the trend. So that's what builds a time frame in favor, right? So if you are looking for bearish in the 5 minutes, you will look for two of these time frames to be in favor with the same direction and with the 50% of the range already corrected. That's the main thing. Now, for the OGs, right here, you're not going to use PRPs. You're not going to use internal ranges, but H4 can. All right, in the 4 hours, sometimes you will have the generic range super big and price will just build up a trend in the 4 hours, and the H4 internal will actually give you a more dynamic range that you will be able to use for the M5 reversals. So yeah, if you don't want to stick to one massive 4 hours range for weeks, you can use H4 internal. It's actually smart. So these are the basic rules, right? These are the basic rules. Entry must happen on the strong supply or demand area from the smallest time frame in favor. What does this mean? If we're looking for sells in M5, and the lowest or the smallest, the lowest time frame in favor is the 1 hour, because right now we have 1 hour and 4 hours bearish. We're going to look for the entry to happen on a strong supply of the 1 hour, which in this case correlates with the 4 hours, but sometimes it will not. This just avoids entering on a weak supply, which is a higher high and not a lower high, let's say. It happens right here, right? This will not make a lot of sense because you are still bullish. But with this rule, you're just entering when the market breaks the higher high and is right now respecting again the previous lower high area, right? That's what makes the most sense, and I hope it makes to you guys. Now the exit of the higher high or the lower low of the highest time frame in favor, and this is what allows you to catch such a big runner. If the highest time frame in favor is the 4 hours and we're looking for sells, our exit will be placed at the lower low of the 4 hours. Easy peasy. So these are the rules, basically. These are the rules. Until we gather more data, no time window, and also we trade on weekends. These are the rules, basically. I mean, nothing else. So far, so good. So now applying these rules to these two trades. Well, we have H4 and H1 in favor. Both have the same direction, and the 50% is tapped also for this one. If we go for the 5 minutes, we had the break of a structure right here. Oh, by the way, now that I said break of a structure, you're going to use BOS plus PRPs. Rule of the third. Right? So basically, that's the first BOS that happened, which happened almost before me going to sleep at 12:15. That's basically where the BOS happened. I took it, and then during Asia was partially good, and then on the Frankfurt kill zone, it skyrocketed and hit the invalidation. Fair enough. Now, after hitting the invalidation, we have another period of compression of the price action, which is primarily giving you the signal that, hey, I want to go lower. When you see the distance between higher highs or lower lows being reduced, that means that price is getting closer for a reversal. So right here, pretty simple, in the 5 minutes time frame, market eventually did the bearish movement. Right there we have a break, but you need the break and close, and that's where the M5R type of entry joins, which is basically the same way to mark up the structure, but the execution goes at the close. All right, at the close of the candle. Okay, and this is the most important part. When the close happens, you enter. Invalidation goes above the high. All right, in this case is the highest high of the break of structure, and as we said, the exit goes to the lower low of the highest time frame in favor, which is the 4 hours lower low. Now on Friday, well, this is Thursday, but anyways, we had quite good amount of red folders in New York, which after having a lot of margin of movement during the first chance of the morning, we had the red folders hitting hard, going back to the level of entry. It was not a massive red folder, but somehow the volatility entered way after, giving the whole movement, right? This was the full 1 to 12 minus the one of the last trade. That was a plus 11, total tally of plus 11 for this range. So that's pretty interesting, all right? That's pretty interesting because the fact that it allows you to take such good trades is what makes eventually the equity curve of the system go in the right way where you want to go. So now moving next, I mean, I don't know how much time we have on the video. 11 minutes. So far, so good. That's pretty much everything for that trade, but this is how we are now. This is how we are now. So I'm not going to break down all the trades, all right? Right now, we have like 4 systems for Bitcoin alone, right? 4 systems for Bitcoin alone. I'm going to highlight the trades for the multi-time frame. And yeah, basically right after this one, we had this trade, which was basically a short that was out at break even after tapping into the opposite demand area. Same way as right here, we did not have any structure. This was a lower low, but right here we already had a trend to the upside. Makes sense to move to break even. Same way as here. Right here we have higher high, higher low, higher high. Demand area gives you, look at the reaction that it gives you. That's a perfect place to move to break even to. But anyways, right after having this lower low, we have the same thing. All right, H4. Well, I forgot to put this one. Yes. H4 lower high and H1 lower high that gives the lower low, and also the 15 minutes is bearish. So right here, all the 3 time frames are bearish. So this bearish BOS on the M5, which let me show you how it was built. It was on Friday at around 10 a.m. That was basically the break and close, invalidation above the high, exit, boom, right here at the H4 lower low. Interesting. That was a 1 to 5, eventually out at break even. Now, this one happened on Saturday. After invalidating at break even, the setup from Friday, we had the price hitting the high, good, and now we are entering again on what? On the strong supply, right? Do you remember the rule? All right, we're not taking any bearish BOS right here because that's a weak supply. We wait for the price to break this one and go for the strong supply again, right? Now, once it is on a strong supply area, boom, there we go with another bearish BOS, which is the first BOS after hitting the high from Friday's setup. And then again, boom, break and close, invalidation above the high, and right here we have our area of break even, which honestly could have been taken in consideration as a exit area, right? That could make sense, but in any way, that's pretty much where we are. So we have that setup running. Let's see what's up with that one. And we have multiple trades right now running also. We have, well, multiple now. We have this buy from last Friday, and also we have this long from today, which Both are with different systems, so I will not break them down right now on the video. But yeah, that was basically it, guys. If you guys made it to the end of this video, make sure to check the description. You have the link to my Instagram where you can hit me up to my DMs and ask for more information, and basically ask if we have available spots for the private group of students. If we do, you will have access to all my strategies that I apply live in the market every single day through intensive courses. You will also have access to the live analysis sessions that I do daily from Monday to Friday in Spanish and English, which will allow you to see how I apply my systems daily in the live market conditions in front of all of the students. And you will also have access to the private app where I send all the market ideas that happen in the market outside of the live analysis sessions with me and way more other traders and educators that we send all the educational ideas on the app. With this being said, you will also have the link to my Telegram channel, which is free, and I sometimes send some information over there. And you will also have access to a form, for a Google form, that will allow you to fill up and see if you qualify to work personally with me. If you're one of those profiles that wants to really take this seriously and work personally with someone with almost 9 years of experience, and you want to have a quantum leap in your results, not only in trading but in all areas of your life, and you want to take this seriously, right? That's the main thing I look for. You can fill up the form in the Google Forms below. If you qualify, my team will check, and if so, you will have a one-on-one call with me, quick, to see your real profile, and afterwards we will see if we can work together. You will also have the link to QuantPro, where you can analyze your data, your trading data, and get a very good diagnosis of the strategy that you are currently trading and see if it has real edge or it is just luck. It's a software that we have been building in the backend for a few months already. We are using it for our own data ourselves, and I can only recommend that you guys use it for your data too. With this being said, family, see you in the next video and enjoy the rest of your day. Let's get it.